Hello, friends, and welcome back to my channel. We're back with another energy update, another energy reading. And today I actually want to focus on the physical body. I know that for a lot of people, you've been feeling very physical symptoms recently. I think this is manifesting differently for different people, but it's definitely a theme that's come up in my community with a lot of my clients. And I've been feeling it as well, although I'll say I kind of always feel it. But I think this is becoming more relevant for a lot of people. And I know people are really struggling. So I wanted to just kind of tune into that today and see what the guides want to share around what's happening with the physical body in particular and how we can kind of, support ourselves with these shifts. Ascension is a very physical process. And so the more that we are being pushed to different levels, I'll say, of our spiritual awakening, we'll feel that very physically. And part of that is to start to understand that there isn't this separation between the spirit guides, the energy stuff, and then there's also this physical plane. It's understanding that everything is energy. And when you start to feel things very intensely in your physical body, you start to really realize, oh, it's all the same thing. It's all energy. So let's just, I'm just going to tune in and just see what they want to say initially. Okay. So the first thing, I have Archangel Raphael here, who I like to work with specifically around physical health issues. And I also have Isis and Sisters of Light and the whole gang. But what he's saying is that right now it's what's being poked at. Like there's basically with the physical body, they're poking at the place you need to look. It's like poking at the wound sort of, which is if it's that wound, it's the thing that you're here to heal and move through, and there's actually like wisdom in that wound, in that pain. And so it feels like, whatever the thing is that you have been kind of avoiding or overlooking or not wanting to deal with, they're poking at a very physical thing for you right now that's meant to support you in taking a step back and being like, what does this really represent energetically, and actually allowing us to start to explore some of these physical health issues from a different perspective, like actually doing that, not just talking about it. And so understanding what different parts of the body represent to us individually and just in general. And, what's the deeper spiritual meaning to why the symptom is showing up there, whether it is physical pain or discomfort or an insecurity. The energy is really like you can't hide anymore. And where we're really pushed to you can't hide anymore is when it's very, very physical. I've talked a lot about the connection between being a starseed or spiritual gifts and physical health issues, and specifically around autoimmune and chronic illness. There's a clear correlation there. I know that was a big part of my path, and I really think there's a direct overlap there. It's for a whole other time, but that's kind of what he's bringing up now of you're being like forced to look at it. You can't hide. And the way that you're forced to not hide is it's going to be a very physical thing that you can't avoid. And you can either dive into it, like dive into the experience and be like, I'm going to look here and find the wisdom within this and like get in there, or I'm going to keep avoiding it. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And especially for those of us who are really stubborn and hard-headed and our minds are really, really powerful, that's often the way that the guides get our attention, is through something physical that you quite literally can't ignore. And I know in my journey, and I mean to this day, when they really want to get my attention, it will be a very physical thing where I'll like wake up and I won't be able to get up. Like I will be burnt out because my mind is so powerful. I can be completely exhausted and I will get my butt up and I will go do the damn thing. Like it takes a lot for me to be held back physically. And so that will happen. I'm like, whoa, I really can't avoid this. And they're, asking me to share that just as an example of, whatever is coming up for you in the specific symptom, and also where it's showing up in your body, like how it's manifesting is very specific to you. And there's actually gold underneath that. And that's the place to look, but you really can't hide from it anymore. And so is there a piece of yourself that you don't love that's really coming to the surface? Is there something you're avoiding? I mean, are you avoiding rest? right? Are you avoiding your emotions? And like, it's going to be a very physiological thing that kind of like pushes you to make a big lifestyle shift or shift the way that you relate to something within your body and actually move to the space of appreciation for it. And that can be a journey. And what he's saying is a lot of people are so out of alignment with appreciation for their vessel, like kind of just taking it for granted. And part of the process is really learning to appreciate the vessel and take care of it like as this divine vessel, rather than not think about it in that way and think about all the ways that we try and control it, or we talk negatively to it. And so it's really loving slap in the face of with self-awareness of like, how am I talking to my body and treating my body? And it's just not going to work anymore. But we're hitting that breaking point for people, like people who are going to wake up, who are meant to wake up. It's very interesting to just watch how it happens. And for a lot of people, it's a very physical thing. You know, a lot of people, unfortunately, don't make life shifts until they hit a rock bottom. And hitting that rock bottom is often where the awakening happens. You know, I was talking about this a lot in Awakening Accelerator for those of you who sign up for that. And also if you want to get the replay, you can get access to that as well on my website, ChristinaTheChannel.com. But that's, you know, a really common part about a spiritual awakening is you just get pushed to the lowest of lows, because that's often the only moment people are actually just open to, like, what do I need to hear? You're just brought to your knees. And if we can get ahead of that and we don't wait until we're knocked on our asses, like, we don't always have to experience those low lows. Unfortunately, a lot of people wait until that moment. You know, you don't necessarily have to, but things are coming up very like physically for people, all of this stuff that's been brimming underneath the surface for a while, and you just can't hide anymore. And so this is about like really looking at how is it manifesting for me, whether it is your skin, your digestion, exhaustion, fatigue, anxiety, depression, extra weight, and really looking at that from an energetic perspective. And he's saying like just offering this other perspective of what if you just looked at it as like a neutral, like from a neutral place, rather than what we do is we often perceive our bodies and these symptoms with this like very judgmental kind of mindset, like, oh, it's not working right, or that's not how it should be. But actually the body is giving you this really important wisdom. It's coming through for you. It's all indicating something is off. It is serving you. It is working correctly because something is off, which is why it's having a symptom. And those aren't bad. That's information. The same way a low frequency emotion isn't bad. It's indicating that there's vibrational misalignment. You know, you're out of alignment somewhere in your life. You know, anxiety is indicating something important to us. Sadness, depression, anger, like that's all really important information. The same way if the body's acting up, if our blood sugar is dysregulated, if we're holding on to extra weights, if our skin is breaking out, if we're having rashes, like this is all important information, and the body's becoming more and more sensitive. And that's just like, that can be a natural progression for people. And I think a lot of people are feeling this really intensely. I know for me, that was something that, you know, I have a very sensitive body, and I've had to kind of learn to work with that and the wisdom within that. But I understand how that process can be kind of like, whoa, when you're used to not worrying about anything and suddenly you're really sensitive. You're really sensitive to intense noises, or like loud noises or smells. Like because your spidey senses are turning on and suddenly everything is clear, or even vision or bright light. I've always been really sensitive to bright light and sounds, right? And your taste buds might change. It might be like overnight, I don't want that, right? Or heat sensitivity, feeling really hot, cold, being very picky about the textures of things like clothes on your body. You're just going to notice that sensitivity, and also that energetic awareness of, whoa, when I'm in this location, maybe at this restaurant or around these people, whether that is the location, like the building, the area in the world, like the city, the people you're around, you're going to feel that really intensely, and your body is going to tell you how. And so starting to make this connection of, like, I know for me, when I am out of alignment with my business, or if I'm spending time with people who are energy vampires, I will have really bad digestion. Like everything, like it's just really bad. My stomach will be killing me. And we can jump to it's all like food or what's going on, but our body's giving us wisdom. Or for me, I'll get a lot of inflammation if I'm in the wrong space. So my body will like drastically change depending on the location I'm in the world, the city I'm in, the building I'm in. I've had this experience with different Airbnbs. My body will literally be like, no, like this is inflaming. It's inflaming. And it's not always this, oh, what I ate type of issue. And that is important, because we're going to become more and more sensitive to what we put into our bodies as well. It just felt like, for a while, our body has been like fighting all those stressors, and it seems like it's fine. And now the stress bucket is full. And that's very much happening for people, where we're hitting that breaking point, and it can feel like everything is falling apart. But what that really is about is supporting you in finding the way that's actually going to serve you big picture. And what it really is like bringing to the surface the things in your life, because it's just this domino effect. If you notice one thing, you start to pay attention to one thing in your body, because you literally can't avoid it, and suddenly it's this domino effect of, oh shit, I don't even like this aspect of my career. I don't even like where I'm living. Oh, I need new friends. Oh, I don't have good boundaries with my family, and a lot of the physical symptoms that are coming up right now are related to lack of boundaries, are related to misaligned relationships. That's interesting. Okay. So this is like really connected to, because it's like a make or break moment of like, get out of energy draining relationships, and also this push toward breakups for things that aren't aligned anymore, but also this pushing together of people that might not usually have come together before. We're seeing this with romantic relationships, with business partnerships, with friendships. And how do you get pushed there, and so the body, for people who are not listening to the intuitive nudges, like where your heart, your soul, your guides, like you're getting all of the messages to go in this direction or do this thing, and you're just not listening to it, whether you're simply like not tuning in, or but you're avoiding it because you don't want to do that thing. All right, well, now we got to tell you with the physical body. And remember that as energy clears, it also will come out very physically as well. Anything we've been storing in the body as well. So if I'm clearing out energy from an old relationship, I might be crying for the next few days. I might have really like wonky skin. I'm like physically purging. I might break out, because I'm like purging out the energy. And so a lot of this is like we're like finally hitting this breaking point. So just noticing like what's coming up for me and what's the wisdom underneath, and am I angry with it? Like, am I angry with it and trying to avoid it? And is that really a healthy relationship? Like you have a relationship with this vessel, and it's trying to serve you, and it's trying to give you really important information, but it's like, talking to a pet, right? And let's say you have a pet and you can tell there's something off with the pet, and the pet isn't speaking your language. So if I have my pet and my pet isn't speaking English, I can still figure out what it needs, right? And it's the same thing like with your body. Like your body might not be speaking English or whatever the language is, but it is speaking its own language. And I know how to speak that language. I just have to like listen from that perspective, right? And people's bodies have been like whispering, have been yelling, have been screaming, and now it's like really, really screaming. You have to look in that place, but they're using the physical body as a way to really like wake you up to your next level, and also to show you any wounds that we still haven't looked into, that we still need to heal, and so just starting to understand the energetics of the body and getting curious instead of getting judgmental. So even just the basics of understanding the different chakras and the different areas of the body that are connected. The number of people that are getting like losing their voice or colds, and it's like, what truth do you need to speak up about, right? A lot of the extra weight carried, like where we don't feel safe to be seen, where we're holding ourselves back, where we don't feel safe in our bodies, where we are afraid to take up space, right? Thinking about even just the left and right side of your body, the left side representing the feminine energy. And so is that connected to your balance of feminine and masculine? Is that connected to mother wound, to sister wound? And then the right side being masculine energy, your relationship with the masculine, father, brother, whatever it is. So just starting to kind of think some of those basics, and even just like the physical part of the body, We have, ankles are a common one, ankles and feet with stability and groundedness, or the knee, something happening to your knee and like, where do you need to surrender in your life? So things like that. But it's really this flipping of perspective and lovingly pushing you to ask for support. And actually in that pushing you to ask for support, they're saying that's actually guiding you to the soul aligned relationships. Because, I like this. So when we get to that point where we're just like really at our brink and it's like, I need help, and we hit that point where maybe we've been avoiding really asking for help, and we finally do that, we really see who in our lives shows up for us. We really see like the truth of our relationships. It's not just when everything is happy and good. It's really like, when I'm struggling, are you there for me? Do you see me? Do you love me? Do you hold space for me? And you might realize like who is really there and who's not, and who shows up and how they act. You learn a lot about relationships when things aren't going that great, and who shows up, who bounces, and what relationships are just for the good times. And is that really like the type of relationship that you want to be in? And it's like when you hit the brink, when you hit that breaking point, when you hit full surrender and you're like, I just need support, looking at who comes into your life and who is supportive. And as they're saying this, I'm thinking about some of my closest friends and how a lot of them I met when I was at that place. It was through that place that we developed that connection. And you might be surprised who comes in, or what relationships rearrange, or where that actually brings out another side of a relationship, like a depth to a relationship that you weren't aware of before. Maybe you have a friend who you thought, it's all fun, and they're not really the type of person that can hold me when I'm struggling, but maybe they actually do. And that part of your relationship just needed to be opened up. But there's a lot of like the wound, the growth, the area that we need to look at for our next level expansion is just being thrown in your face. Like, you can't avoid it anymore. And can you believe that it's actually a gift for you to find the deeper wisdom within it if you go into it. But as long as you keep avoiding it, it's just going to keep popping up. It's going to get worse. It's going to fester. It's going to get bigger. It's going to become more of a problem. And so this is about learning to work with your body and partner with your body and speak its language and listen to it, because it's trying to support you and help you, rather than avoid it, not listen to it. I mean, that's like living with your partner and not talking to them. And instead of talking about something that's going on that's feeling uncomfortable, you're talking to your friends about it, or you're just avoiding the conversation. That's just not productive. So what can we do if anybody's feeling, I mean, it's so basic, but they're just saying you need to rest more than ever before, and that's how the healing happens more quickly. And it's like the classic, like if you sprain your ankle, you're not going to try and keep running on it. If you take the week off, it's going to heal a lot better than if you keep trying to like just put even a little bit of pressure on each day. And it feels like a lot of people need like a full rest, a full clearing, I need a couple days to myself, because there's other stuff that wants to bubble up from that, and they're kind of trying to force you to get in your own energy field, because there's just been so much muddied from everybody else's opinions and judgments and thoughts, and you kind of need the space. You've kind of been manifesting like, I just want shit to slow down for a second so I can collect myself. And is that the permission you need? Like, sometimes we manifest health issues because we're the type of person that won't slow down unless we feel like we have a justification, which you don't need any justification other than you want to. And so this is where sometimes that can happen in our lives. We've been asking for it. And they want to drop in some inspiration, some really important downloads. And there's been questions on your mind and you're trying to get to the root of it. And you're like, what's the answer? And there's this physical thing going on. And the answer that you're looking for is going to come through when you go into the physical thing, but you're like, no, I don't want to deal with this. I want to figure out the answer, because you want it to come through in the way that you like looking at it. Like you're trying to find the answer in the way that feels more comfortable to you, like in the space, in the area that feels more comfortable to you, and that's not where it is. So when you set your intention, when you're asking the question, your higher self, your guides, like your body is trying to answer it for you. And so it's like waving this big yellow flag, like look over here, and you're not looking there. And you're just like, I don't want to pay attention. It's like, hey, the answer is right here. And so I know it doesn't feel connected, but it absolutely is. And it's just following step one on the treasure hunt. So extra water, extra salt, extra minerals, they're saying. So really looking at like mineral balance. I feel, oh my God, it's a whole other thing. A lot with mineral balance. I mean, in general, supporting detox, but like what they're saying is there's a real mineral balance right now. It's in the food, it's in the water. Minerals. Are you taking trace minerals? I love CT minerals from Cellcore. So we have activated earth, power places, ley lines, trust where you are led. Are you feeling guided to a certain place? And this is energetic. This is also physical. There's like this kind of pull toward movement, or you might need to get out of your space. You might need to book yourself an Airbnb for the weekend, or maybe house swap with a friend. Like where are you led energetically, emotionally, even with relationships? Like you might have been thinking about reaching out to somebody, and I don't know, just keep writing it off. This just happened to me this week. I kept thinking about somebody, and I hadn't talked to this person in a long time. I was like, I'm just going to reach out. And like, I'm so glad I did, because something new got totally reconnected and sparked, and it's been making me feel really good. I'm like, oh, I've literally been like manifesting this relationship right now, or this support. But this is also a very physical thing. Like it's like kind of retreat energy. How could you give yourself like an hour of retreat time? Maybe it's just driving off to a trail or just a nice space in nature, and just giving yourself some me time to actually rest. It's the answers are in the silence, or in nature, or in the space. This is big picture thinking. Big picture thinking. Pleiades energy, visionary, inspired ideas. So the inspiration wants to drop in, and what they're saying that's about is you're like blocking yourself from doing what you need to do, or looking in the places you need to look, or slowing down, or resting, or taking care of your body, because you're too in the micro, and we need to zoom out and think big picture about like what really matters here. Like, and your health really does matter. And like, what really are my goals in my life? And it's like, you're so caught up busy in the day-to-day. I don't have time for that. I can't deal with that. And it's like, that actually doesn't really matter. And you can get that done without putting so much energy toward it. And actually think about like, what is the mission? What is the vision? Like, what's really important? And like this connection with yourself, with your physical body, like that's actually very important. And if you don't slow down right now to get the messages, like to tune into yourself, to nourish yourself in the way you need, it's going to bite you in the ass, and it's going to become a much bigger problem. So stop staying so like zoomed in. It's time to like actually zoom out for a second and like big picture what is important. Because if you don't decide that for yourself, you're going to get knocked on your butt. I say that with love. They say that with love. Anything else? They're saying trust that this is for you. Trust that it's for you. And the body is trying to tell you what it needs. And it actually needs a lot less. It needs like a lot less. It needs simpler. Simple. Less. More rest. Simpler ingredients. Whole foods. It doesn't want to process so much. It's already processing everything else. And we really need to simplify to make it easier for our bodies as we're going through so much spiritually, emotionally, energetically. And if you think about like, you're processing everything. So we're digesting food, we're digesting emotions, we're digesting conversations, we're digesting thoughts. Think about everything that you're actually digesting energetically. And when there's all this other stuff going on, all these energy upgrades and all these emotions and all these changing relationships and all these thoughts, we really want to be easy on our bodies, because we can be overburdening that, like our digestive abilities energetically, which is also physically, our livers, and just our energy bodies overall. So keeping it, simpler. Wow. Okay. I hope that was helpful. Lots shifting. Getting ringing in your ears, getting tingling in your crown. You're having wild dreams. Wow, I'm having wild dreams. And you might be feeling really tired. Time to rest. If this was helpful, leave a comment below, hit the thumbs up button. if you did like the video, and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't ever miss a future video. Thank you so much for being here. If you do enjoy these, check out my membership, the Channel Collective, where I do regular energy updates, answer all the questions. We have a whole library of exclusive channel messages and training videos and all things manifestation and intuition. Would love to see you there. So you can check that out on my website. Links will be in the description. And I hope you have a wonderful day.